This is a problem worked through for lesson 3.1, Introduction to Forces. In these problems, we are going to be identifying the forces that are acting upon this block based on the problem information given. So in this problem, we have a block that is resting on a flat surface. So we have gravity that will be moving downward. We have a normal force that will be acting perpendicular to this surface. So that's going to be coming straight up. And we have no other forces in this problem. So we simply have gravity and normal force on that block. In the next block, we have the same block, but now it is sliding at a constant velocity along the surface. So again, you're going to have a normal force going upward, right? And that will be counteracted by gravity pulling downward. We also have a small amount of friction that will be moving opposite the direction of motion, because if the block is sliding this way at a constant velocity, that means we have a small applied force that is going to be necessary to counteract the force of friction that is moving in the opposite direction. So we have an applied force and we have a frictional force. Now, in the next problem, we again have a block being pulled along the surface by an outside force. Now, this is being pulled by a force, but we see that there is no direct connection from that force to the block. So that tells us that this force is an applied force, and we will have friction moving in the opposite direction, because friction is always opposite the direction of motion. Now we have gravity pulling downward, and then we also have a normal force, again, as before, that is acting perpendicular to this surface. So 90 degrees going straight up. So this is our normal force. So we have normal and gravity. Okay, now we have our block and it's accelerating as it slides down an incline. Now this is where things get a little difficult. In this problem, gravity is still straight down, right? Because gravity pulls towards the center of the earth. But what we have is our inclined surface, our slope, is now not flat. But our normal force is always perpendicular to this. So our normal force is actually going to come up, and it's going to go at this angle because it's going to be perpendicular to the surface that the block is sliding down. So this is our normal force. So normal and, gravity. And then finally, the block is accelerating down the incline. So whatever gravity is not canceled out by the normal force is pulling it down. But that does mean, since we have the block sliding against another surface, we do have a little bit of friction. Finally, with our last part of this, we have a block that is held in equilibrium using a rope and pulley system. So the block is now being pulled down by gravity. Even though we have a force here on this rope that is pulling in this direction, this rope and the friction that the rope has against the pulley are not actually affecting the block. The only other force that's affecting the block is up this string that is a direct connection from the block to the environment, and this is going to be the force of tension. So in this one, we have tension and we have gravity. And that is how you identify the forces on an object using the 6 forces that we have in class.